Okay, now... Oh, can you hear me now? You can hear me? Oh my goodness! Did I fix it? Okay, okay. I fixed it. Oh my goodness! Yay! Woohoo! Oh my goodness. Alright, so for those who don't know, I am running on a new system because we were having lagging issues and I finally figured out the lagging issues. It was my laptop. Sorry. I've got a new setup. It's going to be some hiccups and some growing pains for the first couple days. I apologize. I'm still... I don't know. Streamlabs looks like they updated something. And now I'm still trying to figure out the chat as well. But I have an exciting show. And I was going to do just a regular upload for you guys. But I really want to share this information with you guys. I could have waited. Oh, thank you, Miss Stewie. Yeah, birthday is on Tuesday. But like I said, I came across this information. And to me, in my opinion, now of course this is all going to be speculation and theory. To me, this makes the most sense as far as the two sketches and what's going on with the young guy sketch. So I'm going to play my intro to see if you guys can hear this because I'm still trying to figure out all the audio and everything. But if you guys, can you put a 1 in the chat to let me know if there's no lag, that everything's good as far as the video? I'm not lagging when I do this. Is everything okay? Like I said, we're kind of testing everything out real quick. I said, my cousin got me a new PC, an actual desktop, because I was running off a laptop, and I think I kind of overdid it with the laptop, and that's why I was buffering these last few lives. I mean, these last few lives have been absolutely terrible, and so it's so nice to, like I said, my cousin got me this new desktop for my birthday, early birthday present anyway. And this should completely solve the problem with the buffering issue. And that'll allow me to do so much more. I'll be able to do map time and all that other stuff. I think you're on your computer's mic. Am I on my computer's mic? Let me know. I should be really loud if I am. Or if I'm... No, actually, no, this doesn't have a mic, so... If I was really loud, am I getting louder? Alright, so you guys can hear me alright, because someone just said, sounds like I'm speaking through my... Oh, I have an echo. Sounds is gold. Sounds hood? Alright, some say there's an echo. Oh, God. That would be... Sounds good to you. Okay. Alright, if there's an echo, that's something I might have to do after stream. No echo. Okay. Alright. Alright, most people say there's no echo. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, your birthday's on the 11th? Oh, right on. Nice. Okay. Alright, I'm going to play my intro to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. Alright, so everybody else says no echo. Alright, I'm going to play the intro to see if the video sound is working good. So... Let me know if you can hear the video okay. Okay. I got you, Sue Ellen. Thank you. So can you guys hear the sound to the video as well? Can you put a 1 in the chat if you can, please? Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Like in a tunnel. Okay. Alright, we'll work on it. Thank you. Okay.
Also, today's missing person case is Thailand Hernia. Also, today's missing person case is Destiny. Today's missing person case is Haley Bible. Also, today's missing person case is Isabel Grace. Also, today's missing person case is Alexa Ware. Today's missing person case is Also, today's missing person case is Aaron Teresa Lawrence. Today's missing person case is Jessica Marshik from What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's video.
Alright, thank you guys. And thank you guys so much for being patient with me. Like I said, I've got a new setup, so, and it's, like I said, there's going to be some kinks, some growing pains, with this stream for sure. But hopefully, so, another question, Jill, I'm going to pull up your comment. Where would I go to update my card info for my subscription on my iPhone? Where would I go to update my card info for my subscription on my iPhone? Well, definitely don't use the YouTube app. I can tell you that, Jill. I would suggest going through, on the Apple iPhone, like a Google Chrome. There's tutorials. It would be almost like the same way as if you were to, for the first time joining. So if you kind of look up a tutorial video, there's a couple of ways, because sometimes you actually have to, okay, so someone says your Apple ID tab. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Google account. But you'll probably need to go through, Chrome. But definitely don't go through your YouTube app on your iPhone. I know that's going to give you a problem. Yeah, just like Karen said. So, question: when I highlight it, does your guys' comment come up at the bottom, like right here, like it should be? Ronnie says, "Oops." Up my lighting. Like I said, I'm still switching everything up. When are you going to update members? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Jennifer, when are you going to update members? If you could expand on that question. Let me know, Jeff. Do you guys see? Yes, highlight comments are fine. Okay, cool. All right. Expand on that question if you can, Jennifer. If you want to let me know what you mean by that, I can answer your question. Okay, guys. We'll get into now. We're at 9:04. The time that I was going to start here. All right. Like I said, I'm a little scatterbrained because it wasn't easy just setting up this new system. The members on your intro in pink. Yeah, I am going to update that. Yeah, I was, like I said, I'm only one person. I've got so many different things. But yes, I will be updating that, Jennifer. Like I said, this with the whole buffering with my last streams, that kind of put priorities over other things. So, but yeah, I am definitely going to be working on that as well. But thank you. Okay, so let's get started. So, for those, I'm sure if you guys followed the Delphi case, I'm sure there's a lot of you that like to watch. Or if you haven't seen, watch The Captain. He does great videos on the Delphi case. Amazing videos. And then it's so crazy because I used to watch The Captain years ago when I had no intention of being a YouTuber, and used to watch his videos, and just, he's got a great style. The whole, you don't get to see his face, the whole mystery behind, what's he look like, an amazing YouTuber. Has done many videos on the Delphi case and has brought up some great theories. Oh, Donald, yeah, okay, you know what? So Donald, I think that's what happened is, yeah, it was because you were a mod. I think you were like trying to add a link, so to do that, I had to make you a mod, and yeah, I need to delete trolls. There you go. Yeah, I need to tone down on all the mods because I had way too many, and I have to kind of keep track of people. But yeah, you said I'd kind of mod you if you were going to drop a link, because you can't drop a link if you're not a mod. So thank you, Misfit True Crime. All right, so like I said, back to what I was talking about, and we'll get in right into this discovery. And like I said, it's a lot of this credit goes to the captain. And like I said, if you haven't watched the captain, you're a big Delphi nerd like I am. The captain's got some great videos, and I was watching a video today, and I'm like, it just hit me because one of my last videos, I think it's actually my last video, we were watching the 5-year anniversary, and it was the interview with Douglas Carter, and he talks about the combination of the two sketches will reveal the killer. And so I kind of put out a video because I didn't get to see it. I missed that part of the interview because I'd seen the other video. So I'm going to play that little part. If for those that didn't catch my last live on this, I'm just going to play this, and then we'll get into kind of the captain, what he's brought up, and then I'm going to expand on what his theory is, or something that he's kind of brought up. And yeah, like I said, amazing content creator. But so this was on the 5-year anniversary, and she interviews Douglas Carter at the end here, which I must have missed this interview the first time. So, and she, like I said, so over the years, Carter has really shut down when it comes to being asked questions about the case and evidence or anything like that. You notice because all I've been doing is just watching archives of Delphi videos. All of them. News, whatever I can find on Delphi as far as news and anniversaries, everything, interviews. I've been going through it all. And yes, I'm sorry. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Gosh, I'm so scatterbrained right now. Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. So anyway, so like I said, I've been going through all the videos, and so I've noticed over the years Carter has really shut down. Like if you find interviews from like the first, from 2017 to like 2018, even 2019. He talks about DNA, he talks about, the sketches a little bit, but then you get closer to the 5th-year anniversary, and, he had this interview with this reporter here, and he just completely shut down. He actually kind of got mad at him because he kept asking questions. And, it's a 5-year anniversary. We kind of thought there was going to be some stuff. Hey, Gray Hughes is in here. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Gray Hughes. I like I said, Gray Hughes, like I said, you're like a mentor to me, to be honest with you, buddy. I always shout out your channel all the time. So that's awesome. I'm humbled to have him in here. So anyway, God, that's going to make me nervous. Anyway, so back to his interview. Like I said, I'd missed this the first time around, and he talks about how the combination of the two sketches will reveal the killer. And so I kind of expanded on a theory, but let me just play this little clip on the about him talking about it.
Well, I think that even though we're at the 5-year mark, I still believe, even today, that he knows what's happening. He knows what's happening nationally. He knows what's happening locally. He knows who's covering the story and what's being said, and very likely he's even going to be watching this interview tonight. And I want to clear, Marty, I'm not the lead detective, but I represent many of them that are on this case.
And I know there are many working tirelessly. You are front and center on many of the interviews, so I appreciate the clarification. Has the person responsible reached out to you or other
I'm going to skip
investigators?
it for just a little bit here.
Well, I know there's frustration. I know there's frustration locally, and there's frustration literally from around the world. I receive 25 to 30 tips a week just at my desk here in Indianapolis. So I know that there's frustration, and I know that there is a lot of speculative opinion about what we should do, criticism about what we've done, and how we've handled this up to this point. I would just say to that, Marnie, that this is very, very dynamic. It hasn't slowed down too much over the course of these last few years, and I don't anticipate that it will. So everything is calculated. This has been a strategic process from the very beginning, and I completely support what the investigators have decided to do. You know, they've given their life to this, and I've developed lifelong friendships now with the family of Abby and Libby, and there's no one on the planet that wants to go to them more than me and say, we finally did it.
How much more video and audio evidence do you have?
I'm not going to talk about what we have that we haven't released.
So this is kind of how his interviews have been lately. It's just, you know what, you ask him one question about anything that has to do with the case, evidence-wise, he just shuts down. But she keeps pressing him, and he actually reveals something that I thought was very interesting that I'd missed on the anniversary because I was watching all the other, specials, and I guess I missed this the first time around.
The purpose of this was to talk specifically about the human effect of this and what it's caused over the course of these last 5 years.
But can you confirm there is more evidence out there?
Yes, we have evidence that we've not released, and eventually I want to be able to tell the world what we know, and I believe that we will.
There is a report and some court documents that suggest there's up to 43 seconds of video. Can you confirm that?
I can't. I can't. Again, I'm not going to talk about what we know or about what I think. I must talk about what we know, and there are some things that we know that I just simply cannot release.
I understand. I'd like to talk about these two sketches that were released years apart by investigators. The images have caused quite a bit of speculation, also some confusion. Are there two suspects that you're looking for?
There are not. There are not. I saw some coverage tonight where I saw Becky Patty was interviewed back in 2019 when that was done, and she said tonight it was like a gut punch, and I felt that gut punch tonight because I would never ever intentionally cause that to happen. Again, this is very strategic, and I really believe, Marnie, that eventually we're going to take both of those sketches. Remember, a sketch is not a photograph, but we'll take both of those sketches and we'll put them together and then remove them, and the killer will be behind them.
So is the sketch
pieces
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I was just going to ask, is the sketch, how does the public receive this information? Is the sketch, the ultimate suspect, a combination of these two images put on this body that we're seeing on screen right now?
Yes, I believe that we'll be able to put the two of them together and drop the sketch, and that will be the person responsible for the death of Abby and Libby.
Okay, so did you guys catch that? So he says, put these two sketches together, and that's going to reveal the killer. And so that's been so confusing because between these sketches, obviously they don't look like anything alike. I mean, some people will see some similarities, but I personally don't. I mean, the nose is different. The eyes, he's got hooded eyes. The nose is different. You got facial hair. The mouth, the jaw, he's got much more of a broader jaw. I know you can't see it right here. So I did a live, obviously. Yeah, I know. That's what I was kind of wondering. Is it the real Gray? Because I'd be cool and humbled if I hope it is the real Gray. All I know is usually I guess we'll hopefully. I know he was live, so obviously if he's live, that's not the real Gray. But anyway, so like I said, so I had a theory that, and it kind of went along with another theory when the whole Keegan Kline came out with this photo here, this sketch here is actually the catfish photo. So this is actually like a sketch of the male model, which really didn't make sense. So I mean, because if this was the sketch of the male model, why not just use the picture of the male model? That never really made sense to me. And then I kind of talked about, well, maybe there was a theory with a guy I'd rather not mention, but he has a theory that this was it's the similar situation with the catfish, where he used his stepson's photo for like a catfish account, and this was supposedly the stepson's picture, and then the first photo here is the actual killer, and that kind of made sense. But then, like I said, I watched The Captain, and he brought up something very fascinating, and so he talks about snapshot, which is where if they have some DNA, they can put it into a system and generate what you would look like. And it's an interesting theory. And the reason why I bring this up is because with the young guy sketch, there was that, well, we know his eyes aren't blue, and he's got reddish brown hair. But how would they know that he has no... apparently this witness that came up with the young guy sketch wasn't that close to the supposed suspect. So how would they know the eye color? Of all things, you can make out a face, but you can for sure say that his eyes weren't blue when you weren't even that close to the suspect apparently in the first place. So, like I said, the captain had a video, and I watched it, and I thought it was quite fascinating that he believes, it's a theory, that they don't want the killer to know that they have, some kind of partial DNA, and that this young guy's sketch came from, the snapshot or something similar to it. And so this... To add on to this theory, to give a little bit of weight, I'm going to play something that Kelsi talked about. Okay, and this was done early on. I'm not sure the year. I apologize. I want to say it's 2019, but I think it was 2020, early 2020 when she did this interview. So this was, still kind of early days of the new young guy sketch. But she says something interesting here. Now, I've got to find it. I'm not sure exactly. I know it's towards the beginning.
Was my best friend. She really...
It's just before she picks up her pillow and talks about it. So let me skip through this. And I've already probably passed it. It's early on.
You took away 2 lives that could have been a very big help.
Okay.
So far, what the police have released is a short clip of the video that my sister took that day, a couple still pictures from that video, and then his voice saying at least guys down the hill, from what I can tell, maybe hey guys down the hill, a man's voice, obviously, kind of a description of him. He's like 250 pounds, reddish dark hair, his eyes are definitely not blue. I'm not sure.
See, okay, right here, this is so fascinating to me. And like I said, it gives a little bit of weight to Captain's theory, and I'm going to expand on the Captain's theory even more and bring up some little more weight to it, to this kind of theory. And like I said, she's going to say something here in this just coming up.
Reddish dark hair. His eyes are definitely not blue. I'm not sure where that comes from, but that was one of the things in the release where that his eyes are definitely not blue. Yeah, and he looks. We really have two sketches. One that is older and one that is newer. The newer one coming from new information that was generated, new technology is what they.
So, right here, new technology.
Is older and one that is newer. The newer one coming from new information that was generated, new technology is what they told us.
Now, when she says newer one, because obviously the new sketch came out, even though it's the first sketch that was made. Apparently, what they tell us. Now, as you know, I've been talking with Steve, former law enforcement, and getting some good insight on kind of some of the things that they do, and how they release certain things to the public. And they can lie, just like they can kind of lie to, when they interrogate you, make up some things. That's the same thing with the public. They can deceive the public. And so, thought it was interesting. So he brought this up to Captain, and how she says this sketch was through new technology. Well, I mean, unless it's a witness, I don't understand how, if it's supposed to be from a witness, how is it new technology? So, I thought that was quite interesting. So, and then he goes on to talk about phenotyping, which is, where they take DNA and produce kind of a sketch. And there was something that's bothered me between the two sketches right away. So, I wish I could. Let me pull up both of these and do a side-by-side real quick for you guys, just to expand on this argument. Okay. So, if this is supposed to be the same guy, okay. So, if this is supposed to be the same guy, but from two different witnesses, what's the first thing that stands out to you guys? Besides the age. The age is the big one. But what's the other thing that you notice that this guy, besides the apparel as well? And that is the facial hair. Did this guy bring like a razor? And kind of shaved, like he goes in, one witness sees him, and then he brought like a razor, shaved himself, and then came out, and somebody sees supposedly the same person, but now he's all clean. So, I'm going to add a little more weight to this little theory of phenotyping. And it kind of makes sense to the argument with, that's why they wanted to say this sketch was actually produced first. So they didn't want us to, so if they had two sketches in the beginning, it would make sense for them to use the sketch that looks like Bridge Guy, that looks like the guy in the footage. So that, to me, that makes sense why they would build a narrative. Like I said, this is all speculation theory. But they might, kind of, where I'm getting at is they built a narrative saying that they had originally made this sketch first, even though it's not true. And so they had two sketches, but they released this one first because it matched what this guy looked like. But really that was not the case at all. This was the sketch that they had. And then when they got the DNA, and now of course they didn't want I know I see some people arguing, well, why didn't they just show kind of like what the phenotype, when they show something like this, like color. And I think that's to throw off the killer, if this is, if this theory is true, that they would make it look more like a composite sketch. And there's some things that I noticed. So let me pull these up. And I'm going to add some more weight to this theory here. is you'll start to see a similarity with these phenotype pictures generated. You're going to notice something with these. So here's what this guy looks like, and you can see that it's got a pretty close eye color, so they know his eye color is more blue than any other, and it's pretty good. As you're going to start to notice, all these don't have facial hair, which is kind of interesting. And here's him. And another thing is, notice they all look young. And I'll get to why they all look young in just a minute. But notice no facial hair. Pretty good on that one too. Now, obviously, I know that the sketch artist came out and talked about doing a sketch. That could have been a ploy, just to, present that argument. But as you can see, no facial hair. And they all look kind of like 20 to 30 with these. And when I was doing my research, and let me go back. So usually you're going to see this one. This one's the first one that gets generated when they do this. And apparently it defaults. So I'm going to read this. Examples of age progression with accessorization with snapshot forensic art services. By default, Snapshot produces composites from DNA at 25 years of age. So when this pops out, it just kind of defaults to 25 years old. So that would make sense why you've got a young sketch, is because they took the phenotype, did a composite sketch, because they don't want the killer to know that they have DNA on him. And here they release this, what supposedly looks like a composite sketch, but it looks younger. And it does kind of make sense if you think about it, that the combination of the two sketches would lead to the killer. And so that's kind of something that I expanded on, that I saw the captain bring up. And I think it holds a little bit of weight. And I think this is more to, to deceive the killer. I don't know why. Obviously, they have their reasons, but I just kind of noticed when matching these up, they do kind of look alike. It's almost like they just took a composite of one of these. And like I said, the thing that's always bothered me is why, if two different people saw the same person, why would one have facial hair and the other one not? Don't you think that's something you would remember, that'd be unique to when you're describing? Because I would think, I know it's hard for us to remember somebody that we just passed by in the grocery store, and then somebody say, oh, hey, can you describe that person down to details? But I'm sure you could remember if he had a mustache or a beard, and maybe, how his hair was parted. But other than that, nose, mouth, eye space, I'm sure that would be a lot harder. But facial hair, I think it would be something more that would come into your mind first. And that's just my opinion. But I said, I just started noticing when I was looking at these phenotype photographs, that they do kind of look a lot like the composite. Just kind of basic, and then, like I said, the other thing, like I said, this one especially here, and of course, like I said, the whole, how it defaults to 25 years old, hence why now they've got to kind of expand that age range, because now they popped it out. Maybe there's a reason why they didn't want to age progress it, because it might be too far off. But I said, it's not a bad argument. Like I said, I have to give full credit to the captain. He's the one that kind of presented this theory. And then when you add on the interview with Kelsi, where she literally kind of spits out, hey, this came from new technology. I don't think she would make that up. I mean, but let me play that one more time for you guys. I think it's kind of interesting.
Is a short clip of the video that my sister took. From that video, I can tell maybe "Hey guys" down the hill. A man's voice, obviously. Kind of a description of him. He's like 250 pounds. Reddish dark hair. His eyes are definitely not blue. I'm not sure where that comes from, but that was one of the things in the release where that his eyes are definitely not blue. Yeah, and he looks. We really have two sketches. One that is older and one that is newer. The newer one coming from new information that was generated, new technology is what they told us. So just an older man and a younger man, but they are the same person, just created at different times.
So, I said, take that for what you will. But I said, when I watched that video with the captain, I think it is interesting with the whole, advanced, technology. But let me see. And then the no blue eyes, I thought that was kind of interesting. Chris, how do you explain the sketch artist saying it came from a witness and it was done soon to... like I said, they could have had... That could have just been staged just to kind of fool the suspect, just to put out a narrative. I don't see that wouldn't be too hard to do. Is just to kind of do a couple of interviews to build a narrative to make people believe that this was just from a witness sketch. Like I said, I'm just saying this is a theory. This is probably one of the most confusing things with these sketches, and I've been trying to look at so many different angles. But when Carter says that these two sketches are the same people, and eventually you're going to combine them, and that's going to reveal the killer, I'm sure he wouldn't say that, because he knows that it was such such a gut punch when the family was out there pushing this sketch really hard for the first 2 years, and then they come out with this press conference in 2019, and now tell them. Now they said Now what's interesting is he says this sketch comes secondary, which is like, well, what does that mean? Comes secondary. He says don't forget about it. He just says it comes secondary. So as I said, that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. And like I said, a lot of the credit goes to the captain because he kind of introduced this theory, and it just between the sketches not having facial hair, which I would think they would at least kind of have the same kind of facial hair or something, and then with the age range. Like I said, and then with the phenotyping, how they kind of default to 25 years old, which this kind of that sketch does kind of look like a 25 to 30-year-old right there. So that kind of makes sense. This is kind of like his what he would look like when he was 25 years old, or in his early years, I guess. And so, but yeah, and then another project I've been working on, as you guys know, is if this is, supposedly the killer, another project I was working on is trying to match up, because another thing that we do is, and I was talking, Steve made a great comment, is like, sometimes, like, I get told that I look like, certain people. I've been told, like, I look like, Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures. It was either that or Matthew Lillard. I'd always get Matthew Lillard when I was younger because I used to spike my hair. So I always get told, oh, you look like this guy. So, we sometimes we see faces, we, associate it with something that we know. It could be, an actor or somebody else in the family. And so I thought it'd be kind of interesting to try to just use actors just as a kind of a control test to kind of match up to this sketch here. And I thought it was interesting because, if this is, the build of his head, which this is really hard to match match people's heads to this particular face. I'll tell you that much. And I had to work at it hard. I mean, I could easily expand the original image like people did when they matched it up to Tony Klein and Keegan Klein. You can expand it and make a match. But I didn't want to do that because then I'm just cheating. But like I said, it's really hard to kind of get everything matched up. But it was so funny. Well, it's not funny, but it was interesting. Out of all the people that I matched it up to, John Hamm kind of came close a little bit. Because he's kind of got that broad chin. Brad Pitt's not the killer. I can tell you that much. Brad Pitt's got a kind of a... I don't know. This is not the best picture of Brad, to be honest. He kind of came close a little bit. Michael Fassbender. But the one that's... then this guy, that I forget his name, but he played Lincoln. But this was the winner right here. Almost. A little bit off. The only thing is the mouth was just a tad off. Everything else was a near match. I mean, you can really see the nose. And so just one of the things thinking outside the box was like, what if the killer gets told he looks like Ryan Reynolds, or used to? So, one of my, just kind of thinking outside the box theories was try to match up celebrities to this face. Because I know they don't want us matching up actual people, actual like persons of interest. They feel like that's not going to help the public, or that's not going to help law enforcement when you're matching all these POIs, and presenting them out, because then everybody's tipping in the same tip over and over, and that's going to, slow down the investigation. So like I said, I thought it was interesting. It's funny, Nadia. I think we did, and it was I think it was SE. If you can, Nadia, please use initials, please. But yes, we matched him, and yes, was it him, Steve, that we overlaid? I think it was SE, and it was crazy. It was like a perfect match. It was kind of creepy. So, like I said, that's something I've been kind of working on, but Ryan Reynolds is like kind of like a... James Gordon, well, yeah, he was close a little bit, actually. Let's go back to James Gordon. It'll let me. Fassbender is a little bit. Brad Pitt, not even close. Hamm a little bit. Paul Rudd, thank God, no, because I love Paul Rudd. Ryan Gosling, I kind of had couldn't find a good straight-on photo of him. He's a little bit of a match. But yeah, he does. The eyes, probably pretty good spacing on it. Definitely the hairline and the jaw match up. Yeah, he actually is quite a pretty good match compared to the others, anyway. But like I said, it's just something I thought it was kind of interesting to kind of, because like I said, who knows? maybe the killer gets told he looked like somebody. And maybe by doing a video and comparing him to Ryan Reynolds, and I know this is a shot in a million, but what if, someone sees that and goes, oh yeah, I know a person that, you kind of remind me of Ryan Reynolds that lived in Delphi and, seems a little off. So anyway. But yeah, all the others, like I said, it's really hard to match up the faces when you're not cheating. So, Jack Black to the BG. Yeah, I'll have to do that. Like I said, this is an early experiment, but anyway, while I got you all here, because I completely forgot to do it in the beginning, if you're newer to my channel, I like to introduce missing person cases to all my videos. So this is Kennedy Marie Diamond. Now this is recent. This is 2 days ago. She's a runaway, 15 years old, Mesa, Arizona. So only 2 days she's been gone, 15 years old. It says missing from Dobson Road, Guadalupe Road, which is in Mesa. Apparently she suffers from depression and anxiety, which kind of probably caused her to... Oh, she's got a POT syndrome, which may cause her to suddenly faint. So that's not good. So anybody in Mesa or near that area, keep a lookout for Kennedy Marie Diamond, 15 years old. So anyway, that's it. Like I said, this is just a quick video. It's kind of late. And if it was the real Gray Hughes in here, I'm honored. Like I said, I know some people are real mixed feelings on Gray, but when it comes down to it, he's done amazing work to this case and has donated to a lot of charities. Love him or hate him, he has done great work. You can't deny that. And if that was the real Gray Hughes, I applaud him for even though I've done the dance and everything, and I'm not gonna play the dance. We're retiring the dance, but yeah. So, but yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. It would be interesting. Like I said, it's just a theory on these sketches, which we're not getting much from the law enforcement, and there's a lot of people that feel like there should be more evidence. Yeah, I've seen the. Yeah, I know what some of you guys are talking about with the day, the deaths. But I think they're the same day. So, just kind of looking through. The chat real quick, just see if there's any questions. Yes, he was in the same parameters as about 10 POIs. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't get too much into the POIs because it's kind of you have to do it in a responsible way, and it's just kind of something I've kind of steered away from for the most part. One of the girls was, when they found it, I don't know. No, I've never heard of that, Crazy Deals. I don't think that's true. Oh, is that Tom? Missed tonight, was driving back home. Yeah, that's all right, buddy. I'm going to do another video. I'm going to actually do a static video on this. This was kind of just to, like I said, I've got new equipment, so I kind of needed to test it. And then, like I said, I kind of discovered the captain's video, and I'll just go over it real quick, just to recap for those that just came in. So, I watched the captain's video, and he had a theory on that this sketch actually came from phenotype, which is where they take DNA and then run it through, a database, and it kind of generates a photo. A CGI sketch. And as you can see, it's pretty fairly accurate. That's pretty close. That one's pretty good. Got the eye color and everything. And so what kind of led down that road is the whole no blue eyes thing, which was odd. Why a witness can remember certain details, but they know for a fact that they don't have blue eyes. But apparently, from what we understand, this witness was not that close to the supposed person of interest or suspect. So of all the things that they're confident enough to say no blue eyes. So to expand on that, I played a video which is from Kelsi, and she says, I'll just play this one more time real quick.
Video, and then his voice. 250 pounds, reddish dark hair. His eyes are definitely not blue. I'm not sure where that comes from, but that was one of the things in the release where that his eyes are definitely not blue. And he looks. We really have two sketches. One that is older and one that is newer. The newer one coming from new information that was generated, new technology is what.
Generated new technology. Like I said, take it for what it's worth, but like I said, it kind of makes sense, and then just like I said, the thing about this sketch is it for those that, like I said, that just came in here with the phenotyping. So apparently, when they do it, it defaults to age 25. Apparently. So, as you can see, this is an age progression. But as you can see, this is, obviously the 25, and then it's kind of 30, 40, 60, 80, whatever. So I thought that was kind of interesting that here, that would make sense. You'd get a young sketch. They don't want to give away to the killer that they have his DNA, and so they hid it kind of behind a sketch, and this, like I said, they kind of built a narrative. And that, like I said, just a theory. It's not, I'm not saying that's truth or anything. It's just a theory. But it's something that kind of makes more sense than some of the other stuff that I've seen. Because like I said, the whole idea that this was the model, they used this sketches from the model, that didn't really make sense, because it's like, why not just use the model from the catfishing account instead of, a composite of the model. So, and yes, Ellie has admitted they've had DNA since like day one. Although, like I said, that's another thing. As you go through their interviews, as it gets, from 2017 to now, the whole DNA kind of starts to slim down. Like, in the beginning, it's like, yep, we've got DNA. 2019, yeah, we kind of have DNA. 2022, I can't tell you if we have DNA. So anyway, that's just my my 2 cents on that. Like I said, that was just a quick little update for those that just came in. And like I said, I'm going to do a video on it. And I thank you everybody for taking their time to tune in. Like I said, I got a few things I've got to work on. I've got a new system I'm running. But apparently I haven't buffered because I don't see anybody tell me I'm buffering. So that's great. That's a bonus. That's kind of the reason why I had to get a new system. So tomorrow, I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow, but Tuesday we're going to have Troy Driver. I got my birthday. We're going to do a giveaway for my birthday. So everybody's going to be entered in. So if you show up, we'll put everybody's name in. And then maybe we'll do something where if you donate a certain amount, we can put your name in a second time or something. but everybody will be entered in, so everybody has a chance. And then usually what I do with a giveaway is I give somebody just like a $25 limit, so that way you can kind of like choose something instead of, because I know sometimes, if you get a mug, you probably already have like 30 mugs. No offense to Gray Hughes on the mugs. The mugs are cool, but like I said, I give people a chance to pick. But he gives away stuff every day, so that'd be a pain in the butt to do what I do. So thank you. Looks like it's streaming perfectly. That's awesome. I'm so glad it is. That means I'll be able to run it with captions on. I didn't do it this time just because I wanted to test it out. So, so anyway, one more thing I just wanted to say is May 10th is my birthday, so Tuesday. Lady M is not doing too good, so if you guys could quickly show some love to Lady M in the chat for me, please. Lady M was my first person to be a member on my channel. It's something I'll never forget. And she sent me an email today, just not doing too good at all. I won't expand on it because that's not my place, but she's always held a special place in my heart, just because she was the first person to support my channel. So if you guys can just share your thoughts and prayers for Lady M, because she's just kind of going through a hard time right now. But I'm sure she'll get through it. So, and thank you guys so much. Thank you, mods, for everything you do. If that was the real Gray Hughes, thank you for stopping in. And just everybody for taking their time to watch me. I appreciate it. So, with that being said, I'm going to try to figure out how to close the stream. Like I said, this is still, it's a new setup in Streamlabs. Looks like they did an update, so I've got to change a few things, or adjust to a couple of things, I guess I should say. So, but we'll look back on it and see if there's any hiccups I can fix on. So, with that said, guys, have a great night, or good morning, wherever you're at. I love you guys. Thank you.